So, ẹ kálẹ́, ẹ káàsán, ẹ káàárọ̀, níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà ní orílẹ̀ ilẹ̀ ayé. Good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are. This is another show on Otumba Who Latest TV. I keep using, when I say TV, I just laugh myself because TV is a big project. And to have a TV, you must be expandedly rich. But then again, everybody's creating a niche for himself or herself on this latest technology of this internet king. A lot of people have made millions from it. Some people, maybe they are late, so they are not really making much out of it. But people of our own generation, some of us are still very active, because I tell you, many of our age group still find it difficult to even switch on a laptop. Well, again, shall I blame them? No. Shall I say whatever? But I can tell them that only now another 10 years, could get 2 years, 1 or 2 years, and technology has just started. Because when you look at what is going on with technology, I was told that we are yet to use 10% of combination of billions of possibilities. Billions of possibilities. So, and that is in all area of life. When you look at the medication, when you look at the fly, when you look at transportation, when you look at everything. So it's my advice to my people of my generation to find a way of catching up, of being part of the innovation, different kind of thing that is going on. Again, good evening, all. Tonight, as usual, I have one big guest of mine, big in the sense that Baba is the national leadership of YSDM, Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. For me, is equally the president of the Yoruba as we speak, until that is changed. Even though we are still in the preparation, we are still in the quest of getting one, but he's a national leader, and so far so good. I've also advertised his post one time. I advertised his post and say, if anybody want to take over from him, they should let me know. Then we can put Baba forward and say, look, let us do a contest. And knowing Baba, I don't think he's afraid. It's just the same experience I had with Obafemi Awolowo. Late Baba Obafemi Awolowo is never afraid of this kind of challenges. Yeah, come on, bring it on. So then we see who people are going to vote for, because they are both Democrats. They are both Democrats. And that's what I found in the present leadership or leader of Papa, Professor Banji Akintoye. And of course, the definition, the position Alagba Chief Sunday Igboho is going to be, will be defined. All that, but as we speak now, these are two people working hand in hand with many other co-travelers. You know, we are on a journey. So tonight he'll be joining us very soon. Again, like you will expect, he's an 88-year-old man, and he has so many engagements. Most of his engagements, some of them are real, some of them are virtual, and he has just spoken with me. He's changing. He's going to join us. So the 5-10 minutes gap, do not get worked up, do not get angry. So we're going to enjoy. It's going to be a nice show. I have a long list of issues I want to discuss. Hang on a minute. Babana don't pay me. Hello, sir.
Hello, I'm ready now.
Okay, sir. Most link to send seeing and you can click Lori, sir. I'm going Wally. The last one. I can't tell what is again, Papa, this is a beauty of a dedicated, devoted, very, very responsible leadership. I've no doubt in my mind, Baba is not 100. I was talking about Walling Simat Solution. he might not be seen as an angel. Of course, like any other thing, everybody has got one thing or the other to deal with in terms of life, in terms of private life or public life, and so on and so forth. But it is a thing of joy for me that we have someone who is there for us, Yoruba, for all of us, for those who are inside or outside the relationship of what we have now. He's been very nice person. Having said all this, again, let me give you an outline. He's joining us very soon, and when he joins, I will start the program immediately by uh, getting him to introduce himself, and then start asking questions which are very, very, German will say actual, which are very current, latest information that you and I will want to hear from the horse's mouth. Because here is um, a leader that probably uh, has the capacity, the ability to continue driving the ship. Ọkọ̀ yóò dẹ̀ ní dànù, kò ní dànù lórí wọn lágbà Elédùmarè. Ẹ gbogbo àwọn tàdé wà táwa together helping him to move on the ship. Lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin lọ́mọdé lágbà ni, kò ní sú wa, kò ní rẹ̀ wá. I just hope everything is going to be fine. Now, do me a favor. Again, it took me a long time before I start even thinking that way. Help me share. I can see a couple of people are already logged on, and some people are already watching on YouTube. But what all I ask you to do is please, eba me share. Me more than one baby schedule. I might not need that. But just help me share this show so many more people will listen, hear, and understand what is going on in the forum, in the general Yoruba national, Yoruba national issues, and we'll be discussing matters arising and so on and so forth. And also, please, if you like, love, subscribe, because the more people I have that subscribe, the more people that will probably get the message immediately once any of my show is posted. I must also say, with due respect to everybody, my show is never monetized. I've never collected anything for, and it's not likely, judging from the Bitimogbe I might not be asked. I don't need any immediate support. And I can also say to large number of people that I know to want to pay me, even at the heat of when I was leader of the media, large number of people are asking me, number tamedu, no. I'll call them, I'll get their account, I'll get them straight to you. And I've done that. I don't want to exaggerate. I saw them call maybe about 11 times, and they send people directly good money. People have been very, very supportive. So that we cannot take away. So having said that, let me give you a rough outline of what I'll be doing tonight. I'll be asking him current matter relating to the election, relating to the probable outcome, the completed one, and then the one that is just been concluded now. And since, one or two controversies regarding Lagos. Lagos is no doubt is seen as a Yoruba land. That cannot be changed. It cannot be annexed. Yeah, some people are giving me the example of American con or annex it become 10,000 miles away. Satellite in one get from one, but we are not. That's not the same structure. So I'll be talking about that. And as usual, I'll be talking about the process of all this. What is it? What is the need for us? Is it time to start talking about how do we foster, how do we take advantage of the result of the election here and there, and so on and so forth? I will also be going to the latest and very current issue of the judgment, the ECOWAS judgment. I'm not that I have no doubt in my mind that when I ask him, I don't know what exactly is going to be. I have lined up a couple of luminary, learned friends, who I'll be privileged to. We will be privileged to hear from them what all that means. to you as a Yoruba person. I'm still waiting for him. Let me try and link up with him again. So again, like I said, it's not a under pressure program. I appreciate your little time you giving to me, because we are spending some of the time. But hold on a minute. What I'm doing is just to link up with him again, because uh, uh, well, again, like I said, Baba is 88. I have many time, and I think there's the personal assistant is away, so that might make a little bit difference. But don't worry, we're gonna get there. Uh, well, he he'll be joining us very soon, and but but in case because for those of you who knows me on my show, I always have a kind of a backup in case there's something. I have done it many times where I have chosen to do one-on-one with myself, one with myself, where I've discussed matters arising on and about the polity of Yoruba people and about the country and so on and so forth. And I've in between called people to join me, and it has been so. So no 1 second of your time is going to be uh, unproductive. So just hold it, just wait. Like I said, but it has to get to a point where if I have exhausted probability of getting him on, and you all heard that he called me, that is going to join. But in case today be any hitch, your time will not be wasted. I can guarantee you that. Because most of the thing here, I will deal with them one by one. And the other part of information I want to reel out now is you will have the opportunity, a job, opportunity to call me on my studio line, and it has to be the studio line. You can insist in it, and that is the if you are calling from outside the country UK, that would be +44 7368 465 054. Ejo, I repeat the number 07 07368. Like if you are calling from London, 465 054. Again, let me say it again. If you are calling from outside, it's going to be +44 7368 465 054. You can call in, but that is when I say, well, okay, time to call to start calling in. So I will appreciate that. So you can contribute, and please, when you are contributing, I can imagine there are going to be a large number of people that want to also do the same. Be reasonable, 1 minute or 2 minutes, quickly make your point, and yeah. Then finally, the what's it called, the comment section. Please let your comment be coming in, and I also want to say I want, please, a reasonable, sensible comment. Do not for any reason abuse I got a message now. Let me check the message. Let me say, I think I can understand.
Hello, Daddy Kalesa. Ọjọ́ mẹ́ta. Àní ọ̀rọ̀ pẹ́ ní program lẹ́nu pẹ̀lú bàbá o. Mi ì mọ̀ rárá, mo dẹ̀ ti kúrò lọ́dọ̀ wọn sọ. Mi ì mọ̀ o. Èmi ti kúrò lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Mo kàn wọlé sí mo rí mo sọ yín.
Okay, Balola, I sent you the invite long time ago. I can imagine you have many messages, but yeah, but do me a favor, help Papa to log on to join large number of people who are out there waiting to hear from him. And I send the link to you. The last one, Kokombawa Press, it will bring you straight to the show. Thank you. Well, again, let me start by talking about one or two things until when Baba joins us here. You all know that the latest in the country called Nigeria is the issue of the elections. There have been the first set of the elections were about the presidential, the Senate, and the House of Reps. And then the second part was postponed from 11th to 18th, which is today. So near as we speak, I don't want to start marking the papers of INEC. That might be another discussion for another day. And well, hopefully they've rectified some of the mistakes of what you've done wrongly or whatever, and hope and pray that this one will go well. But even at that, there's evidence all over the world, all over the place is still showing, which is very, very sad to me. And this is the point I want to make. It is very, very sad. 2023, about 63 years on, the election. And why we still not want to do election is because the caliber, the kind of people, even including the professors, for me, that for even an average professor to agree to want to be a returning officer is a joke. And they will sit down there because the amount of allowance they want to collect, and they're still not going to regulate, they're still not going to manage the affair of the election properly. And when you start seeing a situation where people still have access to what's it called it, PVC, hold this gutter, hold this hold this and you see a situation where 9 years, 20 then begs the question, do we really know what we are doing? Are we still not going to be better off? Yes, better off if we separate, regroup ourselves in, like, according to our capacity in Kaluku, as we, the Yoruba people, are trying to do. Maybe we have to move on. But then again, this is also a sign of, is it going to get better? But I have no doubt in my mind that with good leadership and with good people supporting our leaders, we will be able to create a different environment. Because most of these things, they are not rocket science. To run a good, a healthy, buoyant country is not magic. Àwọn ọmọ wa tán wà ní Germany, tán wà l'America, tán help àwọn ìlú wọ̀nyí develop, àwọn náà ni hopefully will bring them home. And a new one in thousands, in millions, that be able to develop our new nation. Let's hope so, because what I see now, what I can hear now from this kind of election that has been going on is nothing but shambles. It's nothing, it's rubbish. I'm sorry. And it's, you know what? It will always create a kind of a problem for whoever is elected. The legitimacy will be an issue. Because as a student of political science and also as an observer, as a political and public affairs commentator, I can turn around and say, well, show me proof that the election of ABCD is good enough to take to bank, to show the world that the world will turn around and say, well, that would be nice. You see, because when you look at possibilities of doing this kind of election, nothing stopped us. One of the banking structure in the whole world, Nigeria is one of them. We could have used that method if we are genuine. But what I want my people listening to me to understand is we are genuinely not ready to develop, to move on, to be honest. So, and country where people are honest, where they are doing things correctly, is because of the structure. The structure is there. You cannot make millions of our people, whether in Yoruba land or Hausa land or Igbo land or whatever, exceedingly poor. You cannot weaponize that and then expect anything better. And I want there are two remarks I want to make. For some of us who know how to do certain things, but we chose not to be part of it, so that we created a vacuum. So vacuum that creating làwọn kan tó wà ń bẹ̀ ń sìn ni wọ́n fi take advantage, whether they are now local government chairman or House of Rep nǹkan kan oníkàkọ́ kan ṣe nǹkan tó wù ní. Because when you look at how governance is based and how it's run, you ask yourself, how can a local government chairman torí pé ó ṣe small party kan ọlọmọṣọ tàbí state House of Assembly rep kan ó ṣe kinní kan, gbogbo nǹkan tí ó yẹ kí àwọn òṣèlú máa ṣe, none of them. And in most cases our put ẹrù yẹn rẹpẹtẹ lórí ẹni tó bá jẹ́ president, so èyí tó mọ̀ ṣe àti tí ò mọ̀ ṣe èébú oríṣiríṣi nǹkan kan àwọn kan fọ́ọ̀mù opposition ni. And I think that will change very soon, because it will be very sad to continue to live to experience this kind of thing. Pé a lè dìbò, a lè rí ẹjọ́ pé wọ́n lọ kọ́ àwọn ìyá kan wá, lọ kọ́ àwọn bàbá kan wá, afọ́jú nǹkan. Nílùú yìí afọ́jú adití wèrè asínwìn nǹkan kan gbọ́ná vote. And voting is the only power tí ordinary people, tí common people ní. I think Papa is here again. Hello, sir, Baba.
Am I still part of this?
Oh, you are 100% part of it. Mo ti send link since I'm on hold the fort for you. Mo ti send link yes. Ẹ pé ẹsẹ̀ kẹ́ wọlé sir.
Bóyá kẹ́ send yẹn sí telephone eléyìí. Don't yẹn dàbí kó ní problem kan.
Okay, màá send ẹ̀ sí.
Send it to me.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir. Well, as anticipated, well, I don't want to believe that it's going to be like this, but there might be, it's a question of we need to get one or two things right. I need to send this to Baba. Oh, thank you. This is very kind of you. I'm getting messages left, right, and center to support, to be there. If Papa are unable to come in, but let's give it one more chance. Papa will join us in a minute. I've sent again to the new line. Well, technology is also another thing. There's some people like, what do you expect? Papa Mbashi Walaye, he died in 1972 at the age of 78. Mbashi Walaye, how come I put so let's hope now Papa will come. And I want to quickly reach out to the two people who have already got in touch with me that if I need support to come in, I will highly appreciate them. I do highly appreciate, but let's give another 5 minutes for Papa to get himself together. So as I was saying, I think àwọn nǹkan kan wà tí àti get right as dúdú and as dúdú Africa. Akànkàwé yẹn rẹpẹtẹ ní ìwé pọ̀ jù kí la fi ṣe a lè ti fi generate iná omi ọ̀nà education IT Medicare building housing and many other things táwọn èèyàn need, because the main preoccupation of any government is to be in position to create to protect lives and property, and also there's some other things that goes with it. That goes with it with the economy, to generate a buoyant economy, to be able to feed your people. And many African countries, even though we have that capacity, let's take with Nigeria, we have that a lot. But what do we get? We don't use it. And why are they getting away with mother? America, Nigeria. Nigeria. It's because that's supposed to be a part of governance, they don't know nothing. Until so weaponized when they point it, all they want is just nothing more than bread and butter. Uncle Fejewuni. Kebi until so until bastardize one, they point here. They just want bread and butter. So in the process, about your call, and you cannot start any personal business of policies in Nigeria without spending large amount of money. Lórí talks, kò possible. Ẹjọ́ tí wàá di tẹ́lẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ bá pè wọlé, kẹ́ni ẹni tó bá sọ pé ohun tí ọ̀tún bá ń sọ yìí irọ́ ni, kẹ́ pè wọlé, kò possible. You cannot do business without talks. Èmi ti gbé Germany rí now for 10.5 years, mo dẹ̀ ti wà ní UK for many years. Èmi ò rí ibi tí local MP mi, chairman, whatever, tó máa tẹ̀lé káàkiri pẹ̀lú talks. 60 years on. So really, máa dé stage kan, tá máa change the narrative, tá máa change the dynamics of the way we operate in our country. Are we really right? Ká bèrè question yẹn, are we really right? Why are we doing wrong things? These are going to be a public debate. So like Awolowo said, if you don't know the cause of a problem, you can never treat it. Deal with the cause of our problems. The cause of our problem is simple. We don't know what we are doing. Why do we choose not to know what we are doing? How can we reverse? How can we rearrange, readdress issues? And it's getting to that point where we need to start talking about it. Because I want to look at Professor Mahmood. You are a professor of history, you are a professor of this and that. What is your problem? And you have 3 times almost the budget table, how many states need to conduct election. And for ordinary man, an ordinary man will say to conduct ordinary election. And what does it take? The minimum, the beginning of that, I can do that job. But because everything like to manipulate, I manipulate the census, I manipulate Arawa, I manipulate, in fact, why don't you, Professor Mahmood, go for a system that you can not only regulate the fraudulency that go with it, but you can manage it. Let people press a button. There are so many buttons, Lori Facebook, Lori some of these devices. When you go to it, Boba press a lekan to wá rò pé bóyá o fẹ́ tàn, o wá sáré lọ sí Ìjẹ̀bú-Igbó, o wá ṣe kinní kan, nonsense. Kò ní dẹ lóhùn. And it will show. Why are we not doing that? Tá bá fẹ́ genuine results. Tá dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí ẹni tó qualify òun ni kó rule wa. Why don't we do that? Why are we doing something different? All these are matters, issues that's is affecting us. That's just like a little bit about the election. Well, while I'm waiting for, but let me seize this opportunity to invite 2 people to join me, and Papa can also join. It'll be one-on-one. I'm going to call on 2 lawyers. If you are listening to me, let me send you invite so you can join me, and maybe we'll continue to steer the cheap why, but where we are waiting for Papa to join us. I can imagine there'll be 1 or 2 reasons why I still having issues. These are 2 lawyers I'm going to call. Yeah, I'm with you guys. Just wait for me. And the good thing is all this part of the show. Well, what I've done is I've sent links to 2 eminent Yoruba people. They are leaders and they are right. They've been there for many of us. Please, if you get the link to those 2 people I've sent it to, kindly join me while we are waiting for Papa to join us officially. Let me make a call. Like I said, at the end of the day, your waiting will worth it. You will now find out, okay, that I drew. Now we now see what is going on. again, I was saying, I think the area of I don't know what's going on. Aha. Okay, I'll be with you in a minute. Hello, Baba.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. Mo ti send yes, sir.
The post will admit you anytime now.
Okay, but mi ò rí yín kò wọlé lọ́dọ̀ mi, sir. Bá ti pè yín wọlé. And what I'm trying to do, because large number of people are waiting. So ever me press the link and again, sir. In between,
Okay.
yeah, ever me press it.
All right.
Yes, sir. Well, again, I'm waiting for Baba. One of the support I've invited is joining from her office in America, and also calling on one of the our professional leaders, lawyer, whom I'm going to call in a minute, to ask him to, if he can join, that would be nice. That will make it even greater. So I'm still expecting Baba. Hello, Alagwajumosu. Hello, sir. Yeah, I've sent you a link. Mo send in link consing. Even though I'm still waiting for Papa, Dr. Jennifer, like, because the most important part of this show tonight is the area of law. I want us to break down the rulings to the majority of our people. The other aspect of it, I've been talking about it. So about me press link, can join. Papa, I join you very soon. So again, whatever the technicalities, I still hope and really love that Papa comes in. Now, while we are waiting, let me admit one of the Yoruba illustrious legal practitioner. She is a leader. She has contributed and still contributing. And I don't know when she's going to stop contributing. Nobody can afford to stop contributing anyway. Agbẹjọ́rò Dr. Fashakin, welcome for rescue. While we are waiting for Ababa, the national leader, I send a text that can you help? Because the most important part of my show tonight with Papa is the area of the law, the judgment of the ECOWAS. But before I start asking questions, I'm also expecting another jurist, yeah, Alagba Odumosu, which I have no doubt in my mind is going to join us very soon. Well, come on, come back for Jomi Tororo while we are waiting. The last completed, when I use the word completed, not concluded, yeah, election, the one, let's talk about the presidential. What's your initial reaction as how the election went?
Yeah, good
Papa,
afternoon,
hold on,
Otunba.
hold on, Keto. Papa is here. Baba,
Hello, sir.
hello.
It's only
Baba
the
has
first
joined us now. Welcome, Papa. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello,
Good
sir.
afternoon, sir.
Okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me, sir?
You are in the show, it says.
Yes, you are in the show. You are welcome, sir.
Everyone can see and hear you, it
Yes,
says.
thank you very much.
All right.
While we are waiting for you, sir.
Okay. Ekuwajo.
Yes, sir. Ekale, sir.
Ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́, Daddy.
Onkin, sir. Dr. Jennifer is saying hello to you, sir.
Ekuwajo ọmọ kí gbogbo yín o.
Yes,
Ẹ
sir.
káàbọ̀, sir. A kí yín, sir.
Well, for those who have been waiting, let's quickly get started because of we're going to get started, and I'm going to start asking Dr. Fataki, I'm going to come back to you in a minute.
No problem.
Let me get Papa
The
to
notice here says you are in the show. Everyone can see you,
yes,
can see and hear you.
yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
So, kilowatt Kubai.
Share and borrow me, sir.
Notice here you are in the show.
Ben, you're already in the show.
Everyone can see and hear you.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you, Daddy, and we can see you. Can you hear us? Can you see us?
Okay,
Then my face is there.
Benny. All I want you to do now is I sorry about kí àwọn èèyàn. Ẹ kálẹ́ ẹ káàárọ̀ sir. Ẹ bá mi kí àwọn èèyàn tó fẹ́ gbọ́rọ̀ láti ẹnu yín sir.
Kí lẹ fẹ́ kí n tẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ báyìí?
Ẹ má tẹ̀ nǹkan kan, ẹ wà okay, sir.
Ẹ má tẹ̀ anything. Tẹ́ bá ti tẹ̀ nǹkan kan máa gbé yín lọ sí Èkìtì ni o.
Oh God.
Yeah, okay sir. Ẹ ṣá kí ẹ wà bẹ́ ṣe wá yẹn sir. Ẹ bá mi kí àwọn aráalé. Ẹ bá mi kí wọn sir. Baba.
The Presidential Senate of Representatives to gubernatorial states House of Assemblies.
Baba, ẹ bá mi kí àwọn èèyàn, ẹ bá mi kí wọn sir.
Ẹ kú wájú ọmọ kí gbogbo yín o.
Ẹ káàbọ̀ sir.
Ẹ káàbọ̀.
Mo kí yín lórúkọ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá olóko lómi o. Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ o. A kú múra new country wa o. Wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe Nàìjíríà tó ń dojúrú ní country tí wọ́n súnmọ́lé. Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà túbọ̀ máa dojúrú kí country wa bàá lè tètè dé.
Àmín o.
Àmín sà. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n béèrè kákọ́bẹ̀ láti pé the completed election, the first one was presidential. Kí ni initial reaction sí sà? Àgbà ló tún pè mí báyìí. Ta ló ń lo nọ́mbà yẹn? Nìkan pè mí sà lórí nọ́mbà yín. Hello, Baba is on the show already. Ta ni yẹn o? No, mi gbé yín kò sà, ẹ wà ń bẹ̀. No. Ẹ wà ń bẹ̀ sà. Can you hear me, sir? Papa, can you hear me? Oh my God.
Ṣé bí wọ́n wà ń bẹ̀ tí gbogbo wa ń wò?
Ẹ wà ń bẹ̀ mi, dẹ̀mẹ́ tó tún á tẹ nọ́mbà yẹn. Well, again, let's keep it simple, typical of
Technology la wà.
Technology. Let's try one more time. Me more. It shouldn't have. Well, we will continue in earnest whenever they get in. I will appreciate that. But while I'm waiting for Papa, I've just posed a question. What's your initial reaction to the last? Let's start with the presidential. I know the gubernatorial and so is ongoing. What is your initial reaction, and what is in it for Yoruba people? Dr. Janet.
Well, I mean, good afternoon again.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Baba, mi mọ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ link tí mo send sí yẹn náà ni kẹ́ press agbẹ́yìn wọlé padà sà.
Ẹ̀yẹn náà ni mo press mi ò press mi à. Today. Eléyìí today wà lókè ẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà.
Òun náà ni mo press.
Ẹ tẹ agbẹ́yìn wọlé.
What I which more about? Let's check your camera and mic.
Yeah, everything is okay.
You will enter the studio as a guest.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni sir.
The host can add you to the broadcast at any time.
Yes, sir. Do that,
That's
sir.
all.
Open camera yín daddy. Open cam yín.
Link tí mo send sí yẹn ẹ tẹ agbẹ́yìn wọlé.
Link yẹn ló gbé mi débi tí mo wà yìí.
Wọ́n ti wà nínú ilé bẹ̀ wọ́n tán camcorder wọ́n tán camera.
Okay. Sorry. Mi ò rí yín ni sir. Oh my God.
Bẹ̀tà lè gbóhùn wọn bóyá kẹ́ máa bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀
bóyá ká máa bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ lórí bóyá kẹ́ wà bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ṣe wà yín sà. Okay. Dalive kí náà ṣe ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ní Èkìtì pé ẹ jókòó jẹ́jẹ́ sà. Ẹ jókòó bẹ́ẹ̀ sà.
All right.
Let's continue.
Okay.
Baba,
Relax.
let's start with the question of kí ni reaction yín sí the just recently concluded presidential election in Nigeria? And I deliberately asked that question because as we speak, we are still in Nigeria and well, we are Nigerians. Kí ni reaction yín sà? Baba, check your question, mi sà. Oh, well. Baba? Well. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Ṣé ẹ gbọ́ question tí mo béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín, sir? Ẹ gbọ́ question tí mo béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín, sir? Okay. Election tá yẹ ṣe last year, the presidential election in Nigeria. That's well concluded. I mean, completed but not concluded. Yes. What is your initial reaction as a Nigerian?
You are asking a question. Election presidential election.
Kí ni reaction yín, sir? Kí ni reaction yín to that?
What's the question you want to ask?
I want to ask you what's your take on it?
What do you want to ask about that?
What I want to ask about
What's my take on it?
Yes.
It's about the most confusing election in a country of usually confusing elections. That's all I can say. The most confusing election in a country of usually confusing elections. That's all I can say about it.
Okay.
Even the chairman of the Electoral Commission admitted that some things are not right. So I don't know. It's very difficult for any sane person to make meaning out of it all.
Okay. Joining me in the studio is also Dr. Fajakin. Dr. Fajakin, what's your take on it?
Daddy tẹ́ bá ń gbóhùn mi mò ń kí yín o, ẹ káàsán sà, ẹ káalẹ́ níbi tẹ́ bá wà mí mọ time lọ́dọ̀ yín. Mo kí yín sà. Yes sir, Janet Fajakin ló ń kí yín. Mo dẹ̀ kí yín náà bàbá Ọ̀túnba. Ẹ ṣé for asking me to come and I say hello to everybody out there. May the Lord bless you. Kí ni reaction mi sí just concluded presidential election?
No, mo ń bọ̀ abayín sà, mo ń bọ̀ padà abayín General Fajakin jọ kàn fẹ́ contribute ni mo ń bọ̀ abayín sin sà.
Ṣé ń gbọ́
wá Dr. Fajakin?
Anyway, okay, my reaction is of total indifference. Total indifference in the sense that nothing changed. Nothing has ever changed with all the elections that I've watched in my grown adulthood. I don't think anything has changed. Nothing has changed in terms of rigging. Nothing has changed in terms of the Electoral Commission's total unpreparedness. I was expecting something better because of these beavers that it's already pre-programmed and you can know how many people registered, how many of them voted. But when I started hearing over voting with beavers, I know that Nigeria is done for. So it's a total indifference. Right. Nothing new.
Thank you. I will agree with you and also agree with Papa because to have nothing to show for 60-something years of conducting election in Nigeria is a shame. It's a thing of shame. It's something that an average 21-year-old children can never understand. Why is it so difficult?
Otumba,
yes, sir.
You count the years, but the years are not the thing working in Nigeria. There is a tradition that was established in 1959.
Okay, sir.
To the effect that all the electioneering campaign and so on is just romancing the public. that the real voice that will decide the winner of an election, and therefore the next government, is the people ruling now. You are ruling now, you decide the government. The British were ruling then in 1959, and they decided the election. And they handed it to the Fulani and told them the same thing, gave them the same tradition. The electioneering campaign and running around is just romancing the public. The real thing is that whoever is ruling now decides the result of an election now, and therefore who will rule tomorrow. And that's what they've been following rigidly, without bending right or left. That's what has happened in this election too. That's all. It is the same thing. They have changed the electronic voting, but they have changed in such a way that some people can interfere with it and make one person win or one person lose. So it is not 60 years of experience. It's just one single experience that is being multiplied again and again and again.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And to me, it makes a lot of sense, because like another thing, when you keep repeating the same stupid thing, you keep getting the same stupid results. And I have no doubt, but let's start by talking about, do we now go ahead to make or take whatever we have, because this our own journey is the most important thing to you and I, sir, and to many others, millions
Yeah,
of,
that's true.
you know. And
that's true.
But then again, we are now also agree universally that this is a political process. Do we take whoever emerges, because we are not going to know who's the president until the 29th. Yes, we have a president elect who is a Yoruba origin. We can start the debate, the talking about him. Sir, if by 29th of May, which, well, God willing, Bola Ahmed Tinubu now became substantial president of Nigeria, independent of all what you know that's going on. What should we be? What should we make out of that? Do we start to?
Well, we will. He's our brother. We congratulate him, and then we face him with what we have already sent to the president of Nigeria. He's president of Nigeria. The president of Nigeria doesn't change, doesn't die.
Okay.
We sent a letter to Buhari, a long and carefully worded and respectful letter, but very, very factual letter, and asked him respectfully to set up some sort of arrangement whereby the representatives of the government of Nigeria and the representatives of the Yoruba people will meet and negotiate, so that we can do what we call a parting negotiation. We can share assets and liabilities and so on and so forth. That's it. So we're going to put the letter in front of our brother Bola Tinubu, and we need to do so advisedly, because if we don't do so, the world can only come to the conclusion that we are abandoning the self-determination struggle because we have a president. That what we were looking for all the time was just to have the president, but that's not true. So we must let the new president know what we are looking for, what we want, and what we expect him to do. We sent our letter to President Buhari. He received it, and he disdainfully put it away without even acknowledging a receipt of it. We are now going to put the same letter before somebody who cannot disdainfully put our letter away, and who cannot disrespect the whole of the Yoruba nation. 60 million people are speaking to the president of their country, and the president of our country is treating them as if they don't exist. That's Buhari. But when there is another president, we are going to put the same letter before him. in the absolute confidence that he is not going to treat us as if we don't exist.
Fantastic. Very good, sir. Viewers, while we're waiting, we have another contributor who just joined us. He's a lawyer, a jurist, Alàgbà Táíwò Dùmọ́sù. You are welcome to my show, to this show tonight. It's my pleasure having you. I don't need to introduce the other Agbejoros in the studio. I also have in Akin, who is a well-known figure to you. And Baba, of course, Baba is the main guest in this show. I brought two of you. When I get to the area of the legal rulings, the court judgment, I'll get there very soon. But let me quickly take your reaction to the last general election. Alàgbà Táíwò Dùmọ́sù.
He's muted.
Unmute yourself. You need to unmute yourself. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ọ̀túnba. Inú mi dùn láti wá sí orí platform yìí. Mo kí àwọn sister wa, Dr. Janet Fashaki. Mo kí our other participants and our father too, Professor Akintoye. Well, thank you, sir. Wọ́n ti ṣe election yẹn, ó ti wáyé, ó dẹ̀ ti lọ. Pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn fillers tá a gbọ́. Inú mi dùn personally wípé kì í ṣe bí àwọn kan fẹ́ kó rí ló ṣe rí, torí wípé ilẹ̀ wa ó jẹ wá lógún. A lè sọ pé à ń ja ìjàngbara kí ilẹ̀ yẹn kó bọ́ sí ọwọ́ àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé ìjà tí à ń bá àwọn kan jà la máa tún ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jà ìgbà tí a bá gba ìjàngbara yẹn tán. So inú mi dùn pé ìbò ìṣe lọ yẹn ó yìí dára bẹ́ẹ̀.
Thank you. And like Baba said, kini wa ó yàtọ̀ sí kini mi àbáyọ máa sọ ẹ help me ó yàtọ̀ sí kini. Yes, and tó jẹ́ àwa lógún gbọ̀ngbọ̀n òun ni area of our decision to part, like Baba, let me borrow his word, that we want to go. We have the rights, we have all the reasons, more than enough to justify the reason why we say let us just part ways, And I have no doubt in my mind also that it's going to help other nations tremendously, not only the Yoruba. And also the last election clearly shows unless our confirm tanra wa wípé Nigeria kan wà níbì kan, the truth of the matter ni pé people have voted according to their ethnicities and they are still doing it. Apart from the little controversy that's happening in Lagos, which I think some great number of people either know what they are doing or they don't know what they are doing. Let me go to Dr. Papa Mombo Abayinsa. Dr. Fasaki, the way things are now, Papa said we can now use the opportunity to take advantage of what we have to get what we want. What do you say to that?
Yeah, Moki, my learned colleague, Barrister Udumusu. Yeah, I quite agree with the two speakers, Baba and Barrister Udumusu, for what they have said. Yeah, I mean, we can use what we have to leverage what we want, absolutely. And the only reason why that had been difficult with the outgoing regime was because the person there came with an agenda to favor his own people over the rest of the country. And we can see the way he did it with impunity, without any apology to anything. And part of it was writing a letter to him. Even a total idiot knows that when something is sent to you, you acknowledge for whatever it is. Dear so and so, we acknowledge the receipt of your letter. We will contact you in due course with our response. Simple and ordinarily like that. But I wouldn't blame him. I would blame those who are there to do something like that. People like Femi Adesina, people like what's the other man, Lai Mohammed, who are the people who are supposed to help the president. The president can't do everything. And even as a director of any corporation, you don't answer everything. You have people that you put there to do that for you. So, but when you put non-entities in a place, the power misruled, that's the kind of thing you get. Ignoring millions of people that made up the Nigeria that you said you are ruling over. So, but with the one that came now, with the new president, who happened to also be a Yoruba person, I hope he too will put the right foot forward. Like Baba said, they're going to send the same letter to him. I'm hoping that he will put together people of intelligence, people who know about diplomacy, people who know how to treat others with dignity, not with reckless indifference. So I'm hoping that we get something from him. But let me be quick to say that, I always say, I'm always with my own thoughts, even right from this agitation. Those who know me, they know I stand in my own corner. And sometimes I wish I was wrong. But we always, at least 50% of the time, come out that I'll be right. Let me be quick to say this, that if anybody would think that President-elect Ahmed Tinubu we subscribe to the notion of dividing the country and allowing the Yorubas to go and allowing the Igbos to go. I don't see that happening. But it can set the tone. It can put us in the way forward in which we'll be able to accomplish it at some time in the nearest future. And part of what I believe we will do, I might be wrong, part of what I think it will do is to try restructuring, starting from the reckless and useless constitution that we have there. And I'm so surprised that on the eve of Buhari leaving office, he started making amendments that I believe will favor his people going forward. I've not read that amendment, but I was just wondering, you've been there for 8 years. So what amendment are you now putting on the eve of your leaving the office? So which means he could have done something all this while that people have been agitating. He could have done something to remove whatever part of that constitution that is causing apprehension for the other tribes. But he chose not to do that because he came there on the agenda of his own people, not for the entire country, but for his own people. So that's just what I'm going to say to that.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fasaki. Let me move swiftly to the next area I want to discuss tonight. Now, I'm sure by now the gubernatorial election, Papa, this is for you, sir. I'm sure the gubernatorial election will be coming to an end now. I don't know what the time is. I don't know how long, whether they've extended it or not. But we are going to have set of governors again. And this brings the issue of what we discussed a couple of years ago, Papa. And I want to reiterate exactly what somebody like me and others agreed, especially Dr. Fadakin, that we said. Now, the set of people that are going to come in all the southwest area of our land that we are looking forward to have, they're going to be Yorubas. I mean, I cannot imagine that any of the candidates, even though there's this controversy over Lagos that there's one Igbo among the candidates, but I'm believing that a Yoruba, whoever emerges there, can only be Yoruba, whatever the mask they put on anybody's face. The question again, sir, isn't it right to have been part of that game in such a way that we have our own candidates? This is an open discussion, sir. That if we had our own candidates, we could have won all those states if we want to be in control of that place. If we had our own candidates, what is benefit, what is the advantage and disadvantage of that? If we have chosen, why do we choose and what do we not choose, sir?
It is easy to enter into that kind of conjecture. It's reasonable. It's not unreasonable at all. But the thing is, you must know the context in which you are making that kind of conjecture. The Nigerian situation is one in which since 1970, 1978, 79 till now, a process, a system of control and emasculation has been put to play. The idea is the Fulani don't have the numbers to rule the country, but they are ruling the country now, and for them to be able to continue to rule the country, they need to use something. What they were using before is the combination of the North and the Middle Belt. Now, with Gawan panicking and creating states, they could no longer use the Middle Belt and the North. So the North alone is not enough. And so they had to sit and ask themselves, well, how shall we continue our ownership, our holding on Nigeria? And they came to the conclusion that, fortunately, God has put some instrument in our hand. That's oil money. The oil money gushing in. We just let everybody steal as much money as they want without anybody doing anything to them. And they will all surrender to us and let us control them. And that's exactly what has happened. The southern elite has simply surrendered to the money that is coming to them. They are stealing money, and they are confident that nobody is coming to ask them as long as they are good boys to the northerner, to the Fulani. If they make a mistake of saying anything or doing anything that removes a little from their obedience to the Fulani, they will be in serious trouble instantly. EFCC, etc., will be after them. So that is it. It doesn't matter whom you choose. It doesn't matter what is their philosophical and ideological position before they were elected. Once they are elected and they are immersed in this still enjoy yourself and be okay system, you cannot be sure that they will do what you want. You cannot be sure. In fact, they may make the self-determination struggle more difficult, because this will now be boys of your own, ideological standing, boys with whom you have been holding meetings about how to get Yoruba nation, boys who have been running around about the Yoruba nation. You now make them a governor in a very, very terrible situation. They'll be seeing money and be taking money, and the possibility that we can continue to control them really is not there. A few weeks after I returned to Nigeria, Banji Akintoye invited me to his house. And so I went, and we spent the night there because it's very far from Ibadan, and it was raining heavily. So he said to me during dinner in his house, Baba, the reason I was asked to invite you, the reason I have invited you to my house today is that I have a message to deliver to you. I've been asked to ask you to come and be a leader of APC, so that you'll be a counter to all these Adebanjo and so on who are so hostile to the APC. And I said, and we in APC will take good care of you if you are going to come. So I told them, I'm sorry that you are busy. There's nothing you can ask me to do to my refuse, but because I don't want to play partisan politics anymore. I believe the only reason I came back to Nigeria is that God wants me to come and do something for the Yoruba people, not in the arena of partisan politics. Yeah, made lo gumption to le soru yẹn. I'm going to transfer from me, we are going to take good care of you. I know what it means. I know it means that I will end up becoming a billionaire that I will have a beautiful house somewhere in Lekki, and perhaps also in London, and so on and so forth. I knew all of that. We will take care of you. That's what it means. But if I had accepted, I would have betrayed my pledge to my board. No. Don't imagine that winning election with our ideology of self-determination will be enough to keep our boys faithful if they win the election. Don't believe so. My brother, don't. Because I know what is happening. Yeah, I know the boys, some of the boys in the government now, boys that are taught in university, or boys whose senior brothers are taught in university, and who in the ordinary, are nice young men, decent fellows, well brought up, who went into the government and just became one of them. Just became one of them. Doesn't care what is happening to his people. Because he knows that if he were to open his mouth and begin to say the truth about what is happening to his people, he will be offending his masters who are letting him steal the money. So he doesn't talk about what is happening to his people. No.
Yes, sir.
He doesn't talk. Yeah. He doesn't say. Have you ever had any, except Akere Dolu has done it once or twice, especially now that he doesn't have to contest an election again. Have you ever had a Yoruba governor complaining that Fulani people are ravaging our farms and killing our farmers and raping our women? They won't do it. Because if they do it, they will run into trouble with the masters who let them steal money. So that's the truth of the situation. That is gone. By the grace of God, it is gone. Let us face what we are doing. And what we are doing is not as difficult as you think. It only needs dedication, steadfastness, focus. And if we have all of that, we can get our country in the next few months by the grace of God. Because the thing to do is for the next 2 months, while they are preparing to swear in the president, we do nothing and say nothing. We let them swear in the president. Then, as soon as he's sworn in, we welcome him and we give him our letter and ask him to respond to it. That's it. That's the way to fight this kind of fight. Straightforward, open, dedicated, focused. So that's it. Does that mean that Tinubu will grant us our... No, it doesn't mean so. But it will mean that the world can see that we are serious. Listen, can we be anything but serious? The Fulani said they want to conquer us. They are pouring Fulani people in from all over West Africa. They are building up a war chest in the trillions of naira, stolen from the Nigerians, as a war chest, which means they are going to fight and conquer us. If their plans go, all the Fulani hideouts in the forests will become Fulani towns and emirates very soon from the money that they have stolen. No. We cannot stay in the same country with such a people. Even if Odua himself were to wake up from the grave and come and be president of Nigeria, we will still need to get our people out of Nigeria. The road forward in Nigeria is downwards for the Yoruba people and downwards into perdition and destruction. We cannot stay in Nigeria. It's as simple as that. So the important thing is to find our strategy for getting there. The idea of creating a contest election, about winning election, yeah. But would we have gained all that we expect to gain from that?
Okay.
Well,
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I doubt it.
Okay.
I doubt it.
Well, you are speaking.
I'm in contact with a lot of these boys, all these young governors.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
When I came, almost everyone, governor, lower Kimineko, So kì í ṣe pé àwọn tí mi ò mọ̀ mú mọ̀ wọ́n dáadáa.
Yes, sir.
And they are not thieves by nature. They were not brought up to be thieves, but they're in a situation in which that's the name of the game, and you just play it with them.
The structure allows it. The structure allows
so,
it.
ẹ má jẹ́ ká padà.
Okay, sir.
Wondering what would have happened. Let us now wonder what will happen. What should we do? And what we should do is what I've just suggested. Keep quiet for now. Let them install the president. By the grace of God, let it be Tinubu, our own man. Then we will be able to do with him, to do to him what we did to the president. We were rebuffed and treated as if we don't exist. And we know that he cannot treat his Yoruba people as if we don't exist. I'm sure we can make a lot of traction from the situation if we are careful. We are not criticizing Tinubu. It's not, that's not the thing. We are talking about our condition in Nigeria. The Fulani say they are ready to keep fighting for decades or even centuries until they have subdued us. Are we ready to stay in a country where some people will be fighting us for the next decades or the next century? No, nobody can tell us to stay in Nigeria. No sensible person, nobody who has a little bit of charity in him will say, stay in Nigeria in the light of what the Fulani are threatening to do. That's it. For instance, I ask myself, when President Tinubu takes over, or whoever president, doesn't matter, there is one big question. What are you, sir, Mr. New President, going to do about the federal establishment into which the Fulani president has pushed Fulani almost 100%? What are you going to do about the security services, the army, the navy, the air force, the secret services, the immigration services, the post authority, etc., into which Fulani alone have been? How are you going to remove them? Are you going to wage a war in order to remove them? What are you going to do? These are big things that we must watch out and see. Who is going to be able to remove all the hundreds of people, Fulani people who have been put into very key positions in Nigeria? It's not going to be easy. Tinubu is a wily and wily politician. He's a very capable politician. But even he, I doubt, will find it extremely difficult to handle the situation. That's one thing. Two, one thing that, we must pray that God will guide him. Another thing is this. The Fulani, Buhari said that anybody can come from Africa into Nigeria without travel document, without visas, no passports, nothing. And that was a secret message to the Fulani to start coming. And they have been coming in their hundreds of thousands. And all the gates in the north, about 37 different border gates have been opened to them. And as they come, they are given Nigerian citizenship ID automatically, and in many cases, a voting card. And they are coming. They have already been told that Allah has given Nigeria to the Fulani and that they should leave their homes in whatever country they are and come to Nigeria to share in subduing the people who live in Nigeria and so on. And they are coming. I went and saw a group like that in somewhere in Yewa earlier on in this, that was in early 2019. I spoke to them, they didn't know who I was. I didn't behave like a big man. I was just a young man who was doing research, so on. They didn't speak English. They didn't speak Hausa either. They spoke only French and Fufude. But I managed to make friends with them. One woman among them had just finished cooking warashaki. And I went over to her and she gave me some and I ate it in her presence, right there. That opened up, and they could have killed me right there if I had not been lucky. I was lucky. God was with me. Then I asked questions and we managed to stagger something. Where are you coming from? All of you are so many, scattered, spread out over the grassland. And some said they were from Mali. Some said they were from Burkina Faso. Some said they were from even the Gambia. Some said they were from Niger, and so on. So I asked them, are you just visiting here or what? So they said, no, we are not visiting here. This is our home. Our leaders told us to go to Nigeria and they gave us our map that guided us to this spot. This is our home. And we are going to, you can see that we are trying to settle down. We're spreading out to settle down, to make settlement, and so on. So I congratulated them, greeted them well, and left. That's our situation. I wish some of our elite would do a little bit of the things that I've done in this matter. That's really putting my life in my mouth, going among those people. And they're here. And they're coming more and more and more. They were fairly few in 2019 when I did that. But today they are in their millions. How is a president going to deal with that? How?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Going to deal with that. So there are big questions, big query marks hanging over the future. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Let me quickly throw this to Alagba Taiwo Dumosu. Is it not safe to say to our followers, our people all over the world, scattered, is it not safe to say that what Papa has just said is in line with the thinking of Ipe? This is a political process, and we should follow it in such a diligent way, because no shortcut to it. Papa agreed that now we're going to represent the letter that set out our demands, our requests, whatever.
Our situation and our demand. Yes.
Is it safe to start getting our people to understand that the political process are now going to be properly followed and adhered to, because no another shortcut to it? What do you say? Unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And I've heard all what Baba has said. And you see, I think where we used to have a point of divergence is the fact that the 1999 Constitution, if you bring angels from heaven to come and operate it, none of them will pass the exam in Nigeria, because the Constitution is so strict to the extent that no saint can make it operational or operable to satisfy all the demands of the ethnic nationalities within the Nigerian space. So for Tinubu to come forward and do that magic will be a serious Herculean task. How he's going to do it, I don't know, and I don't want to speculate. But what we want is that the Constitution has to be brought down. There is need for us to call all the nationalities to come together, talk about that Constitution, But then it has been done in the past, during Obasanjo's era, during Jonathan's era, and nothing came out of what they produced. All the documents are wasting their lives on the shelves in the presidency, in the president's office. So if that is the case, then why can't we come together and say, let us let each region go their own pathways? Now, I want to say that we have been talking about the issue of referendum, and a lot of people have been misunderstanding it. And the major one actually comes from the fact that there is no reference to it in the Constitution, except in relation to creation of local governments in Chapter 7 of Section 7 of that document. But then our own argument is that it may not be in the Constitution. There are concurrent lists, there are residual lists in the Constitution, which gives the federal government and state government different ways of approaching legislation making in the Constitution. So we are saying that since it does not appear, there's no referendum in the Constitution, it means that the states can legislate on issue of referendum. It depends on how the kind of political will that each legislative houses can muster within their state. So it's just for the Yoruba states, the legislative houses, to come together and agree that, well, our people have been agitating for these things. These things does not appear in the Constitution. There's no way it is mentioned. So once it is not mentioned, it means we can legislate on it. They must take that political move first.
Yeah.
Once they do that, it is now left for the federal government to say, oh, you cannot do what you are doing, what you intend doing. And at that stage, they will take themselves to the Supreme Court, so that the Supreme Court can actually look at it, analyze it, and make a pronouncement on whether an issue that is not mentioned in the 1999 Constitution can be contested or can be legislated upon by each of the states in Yoruba states. So that's our own position. And if that's our position, it means that it is better for us to pursue the issue of self-determination to its logical end, rather than saying we want to participate in any political arrangement they are making, because we know, just as Ninas have been propounding in all their documents, that the 1999 Constitution will never bring any peace to Nigeria. And I'm happy that Professor Nwabwese recently apologized
He
and
has been
said he was
apologizing
sorry.
for a long time.
Yes, that he was sorry.
Both of
Yeah,
them.
that what himself and Rotimi Williams and some others felt that will bring peace and happiness to the common man in Nigeria will not be realized, because some people felt it is their own birthright to strangle everybody out of the union, so that it is only them that will be enjoying the better life that is meant for everybody. So I think it's better for us not to actually anticipate that there's going to be any positive results. Of course, Baba was saying something in relation to our being the next target. We know, and we have been thinking about it, that the next persecution will be coming to some of us who are self-determination activists. We are not expecting Tinubu to be a saint or from doing that. He's going to do it. It will come after us. We know the way things are. But then we are not going to relent. We'll continue to pursue what we know best, because he too was once an activist.
Yes.
During the Nadeko days. And it is strange that when people now cross over, when they use the ladder and they climb up, they get to that top, the next thing is to look back and say, oh, you guys,
Bye.
yeah,
Bye bye.
bye, we are here. So continue to struggle for us, or for them. So it's better for us not to participate in this issue of political whatever they are doing. Let us pursue the
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I mean,
issue.
interject you. All I'm trying to say is it is now clear that any which way, the process of getting what we want is political. So, I agree with you, your line of argument, but anyway, it's still going
Well,
to be a
there's no way you
political
can
process.
divorce politics from self-determination.
Thank
It
you.
now depends on each group or individual on how you want to pursue it. Because the moment you begin to say, oh, you want to participate fully, you will see some people that will along the way will say, oh, it's better for me to go into politics again or to enter into that arena of politics. And at the end of the day, you will see that there will be trouble in between. So it's better for us to, even though we may be agitating, we may be agitating for self-determination, it's better for us not to lose sight of the people we want to assist to get out of the present problem where there's no electricity, no healthcare services, the education is in shambles, the roads are bad, and they have money to do all these things. Some people just felt they shouldn't let some people enjoy themselves, enjoy life the way it should be.
Yes. Thank you very much. Papa, I'm coming back to you in a minute, sir. Let me go to Agbejoro, Dr. Fachaki. It's very
Okay.
interesting. It's very interesting to note that towards the last lap of the present administration, the incumbent shows to make some changes in the amending some of the constitutions. But again, some of them are relevant to, maybe I hope the people in the state will take advantage of the, like some of the concurrent lists, the exclusive lists, and so on and so forth. But that is not the major. My question. I want to have your thought that he did not think about amending the area of that we have so many countries. I mean, we have so many nations. He did not mention that. What do you think he was thinking when he didn't think about it when he was amending, releasing the power to the state to start generating electricity, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth? Why is he not thinking in that way?
Well, I mean, why is he not thinking that way? He has never thought that way. He has always thought that he came to power in order to benefit his own people. So anything that will benefit all the other clans is not part of why he came to power. And when I look at some of the things that he actually amended, they sent about 19 bills to him from the
Yes,
National Assembly in
about 16
January,
of them.
and he approved 16 of them. And all those 16s, they are, well, I mean, if put into place, maybe it may work for the people of Nigeria, like the fact that they can generate, transmit, and distribute their own electricity, because it is, electricity is a major issue in Nigeria now. And that one, I do not understand how electricity can become such a terrible, terrible problem for a nation like Nigeria. But now
Taking so
that
many
the states,
years.
maybe the states can begin to do their own, well, let's see the states that will be able to do it and the states that will not be able to do it. He also said they should appoint ministers. I mean, does he need to tell them that before they will know that? Other than the fact that he just puts a deadline there that they have to do it within 60 days. But how many days did it take him himself in his first term to put his ministers in place? And up to today, he still couldn't get a minister of petroleum, for which he made himself the minister of petroleum in a
It's
country where people cannot even get, they can't get
true.
gas to even drive.
Yeah.
All these, the things that the man did in 8 years, I think he only helped to put the country down deeper into problems, because he was kind of it was kind of what will I say now? It was focused more on what is good for the Fulanis of the world, so rather than what is good for the Nigerians. So whenever you are talking to him about things that will improve Nigeria, I don't think he hears. But you have to also understand he had hearing problems.
That might be another discussion for another day.
You know how many years he stayed in UK,
Yeah.
treating,
Thank you very
according to Adesina, Femi
Yeah.
Adesina, and Lai Mohammed. He was always in England treating his hearing problems. So when you have a president that doesn't hear much and surrounded himself by liars, like those who are even
Hello.
born with the name of lying, yeah, you can imagine what it is that we were in for in this wasted 8 years.
I must admit that some of them are my very close friends, but then again, I have no business with them, because now Papa, I'm coming to you now, sir. Papa, recently,
Okay.
and this is a major part of this show tonight. I can imagine, but I want you to say whether you know about it or not. There's this recent judgment from the ECOWA court. I think that is the highest court in West Africa. I'm not too sure. I've not been practicing for some years now. There's this judgment where the application to opt out of Nigeria was refused. I mean, I'm using a small, simple legal jargons, whatever. Did you know about these arrangements, sir?
Well, two things that there are two things I want to say. The judgment didn't say that they were asking for the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say that a demand for Yoruba departure from Nigeria is a wrong thing, it's against the law. No, it didn't say that. It just said that you people who came here, who are you? Who sent you? What is your mandate? Where do you derive your mandate from? You are nobodies before this court.
Okay.
That's all. That's what the judgment said. You have no right to have come here. So you've done the wrong thing. So that's what the judgment said. It didn't say that what you are asking for is wrong. It's not possible. It's against the law. No. Okay. It says you yourself, you have no right to have come before us.
All right.
So we are throwing away your petition.
Okay.
And talking now about the people who went before the court, I guess that it is time for us, for our people, to get these facts clear. You can just, because you are an organization, you can just write a letter and go and give it to the Secretary General of the United Nations, or to the President of America or the President of Russia. You can't, because you just be wasting time and energy, and you'll be just making a fool of yourself. That's why it became necessary to create a central body that could claim to have the right to represent the Yoruba people. That's why put as many of the organizations as possible to subscribe to it. That's the Yoruba self-determination movement. So in all the letters that we have written, we have made it clear. The letter to the president, I made it clear. My very first sentence, we are writing to you as Yoruba self-determination movement, a representative or agent of all the organizations that are fighting the Yoruba self-determination struggle. So we have the mandate of having formed a coalition or collaboration of all the existing Yoruba organizations. If you cannot say something as weighty as that, nobody is going to listen to you. And in every letter that I have written to the outside world, I have made a point of pointing that out. And it is the reason that such letters have been received and treated with some respect. Without that kind of a clear statement of where you are deriving your mandate from, you will be treated shabbily. And they were treated shabbily. So let us learn that lesson.
Thank you, sir.
We have more than 200 organizations. So every organization will then be free to go and submit a letter to the United Nations. 200 letters will come from Yoruba people. What do you think will happen? We will become subjects of ridicule everywhere. So we need a central representative body And Yoruba self-determination movement is a representative body. I have spoken to officials in the highest levels of government on behalf as the Yoruba, as the leader of the Yoruba and the chairman of Yoruba self-determination movement. And they have not raised any question. They have sat down and spoken with me for a long, long time. And it's not just one government, but quite a few governments. We needed the Yoruba self-determination movement to be able to move forward. Otherwise, if we didn't have it, we would just be flat-footed. Thank God we have it. We stumbled into it. May God be praised. That's all. We must get a clear understanding of that judgment. It didn't say, no, you are asking for the wrong thing. No. It didn't say so. It just said, you yourself, you have no business coming before us because you have no mandate. Who are you? That's what the judgment said.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. It's on this line of thinking that I chose to bring two jurists, the illustrious daughter and son of Yoruba, and they've done a lot they contributed a lot. Now, let me start with Dr. Janet Fashakin. What's your take on this judgment?
First of all, I want to thank Barrister Odumuso. He sent me a copy of the judgment for which I was able to look through. And this was like 2 days ago. What's my take on the judgment? To me, I think it is the way forward. It is a step in the right direction. And why did I say that? My own thinking will be different from the others because I am a trial attorney. I try cases, and I know what it means to bring a case before a court. One thing that we do right is sometimes when you don't get anything that can direct on how to handle something, or when you want a legislation on something and you want to kind of force it, sometimes you take a case to court, not necessarily because you know you're going to win it, but because you know that the judiciary will make pronouncement that will show the way forward. And that was what I saw in this action that they took to court. They took it to court to plead our case, to say that we are entitled to self-determination, we are entitled to leave Nigeria, we are entitled to be free from all the atrocities going on by the Fulanis of Nigeria, as well as our Fulani president. And then the court started to dissect it and to say so many things, including local standing, that they don't have a local standing. And that is debatable, although that was said by a judge. And why I say that is debatable, I did not see the briefs. And the brief did not address the issue of local standing, because in any case, local standing is very, very important. But what I see as a way forward is what that judgment is saying, that we need a body of unity whereby we can speak with one voice rather than just four people coming from before the court. So now we know that we need to be united, we need to be more united. We need, if possible, a document that will say who we are as a people. I mean, you can call it constitution, but even more than that, I was looking at something that Baba Akintoye took to the United Nations, the UN PLO, if I'm getting that on is it unregistered people, something that okay, that where we have a registration number that can be cited into, and as well as stating exactly who we are, that the judge himself stated very, very well. That's what I said, this way forward, because if the action is brought again in the future, now we know how to describe ourselves. It's already well described there, and we can cite to it. You know, like in trial cases, you always have to reference, you have to cite to precedent. Whatever they decide there became the precedent of the future actions that we can bring as people of Yoruba clan wanting to distinguish from all this. So a lot of things were said there by the judges that I know will help us going forward. And that's why I said is a very good lawsuit that was brought. So not necessarily for winning, but for direction. I see it, that's the way I see it in my own case, for direction of how do you address these issues? How do we go forward from here? And like I said, as trial attorneys, when you go to court, it's not always for you to win. It's also for you to say that I want
test the water.
To address. Yes. And that's what I saw in this one.
Thank you very much. Alagba Odimosu, I assume some of these people will probably mention that they are from your area of the divide. What do you say? What do you say to the judgment?
You are muted.
Muted.
Yes, I said I don't understand the issue of area of divide, but that notwithstanding, let me start by saying that
that's not by the way.
Yes, let me start by saying that in October 2020, the Odua Action Movement, of which I'm a member and their director of legal services, wrote a letter. At a point in time in that organization, we thought that why should we be talking about self-determination? And the federal government will not be aware of what we are doing. So the legal team in that group met and proposed to the Executive Council that there should be a letter written to the President of Nigeria. And as a result, on October 16, a letter was written to the federal government. It was delivered at Aso Rock, and a copy of it was published in the newspapers. After the expiration of 30 days of that letter, a letter too was written to ECOWAS, African Union, and then one other body in Africa, informing them of the desire of the Yorubas for self-determination and the need for them to prevail on the federal government so that the federal government will call a meeting and possibly trash the issue out. We were expecting that those bodies would definitely prevail on the federal government and call us to a table, but that never happened. That was that. Then subsequently, in 2021, the Coalition of Yoruba Interest Groups, which is the precursor to Yoruba Nation Global Directorate, decided that there should be a legal way out of this problem. So we decided to go to court, and the matter was tabled and it was agreed upon. You see, the issue of, okay, let me first of all tell you that what are the things we are asking from the court? We are a member of NINAS. The Yorubas are members of NINAS. NINAS wrote a letter to the federal government telling them about the doctrine of force majeure that has occurred. And they gave federal government 90 days. After that, another 120 days was given to the federal government, but nothing was done. So premised on that, we went to court, telling the federal government that since the federal government did not accede to the demands in the letters of NINAS, it shows that the federal government, by silence, agreed to the demands of NINAS. Then, secondly, the issue of the constitutional force majeure, the fact that the federal government did not say anything means that the constituent parties can do whatever they like, and that the federal government, by those letters written to them, which for 90 days and 120 days, does not have any control over whatever goes on, either in the southwest, in the east, or in the middle west. So based on that, we went to court, and the judgment has been given. We have not read the judgment, and what we have presently is what we got from the website of the court. They summarized the judgment the way they understood it and they put it forward. But what I want to say is that the issue of whether it is 4 people or a group of people that brought the matter to court is not an issue to be debated. During the submission of the lawyers, after they've written their written submissions and submitted it, when they were now arguing it orally, the federal government's lawyer mentioned in passing the issue of locus standi. It was never raised in their documents before the court. And since they didn't raise it in their written submission, what the court ought to have done, and this is acceptable norm everywhere, what the court ought to have done was for the court to ask each of the parties to come and address it on the issue of the locus standi, that is the right to sue, whether the group that has come to court has the right to sue or not. The issue of locus standi or right to sue has been settled in several Supreme Court cases in Nigeria, including a recent one that is called the Center for Oil Pollution Watch versus NNPC. In that case, the Center for Oil Pollution instituted an action on behalf of a community, and the NNPC objected, saying that they cannot institute an action on behalf of those people. They raised the issue of locus standi up to the High Court. The Court of Appeal rejected the application. But when it got to the Supreme Court said no. The issue of locus standi is now broad. You cannot narrow it down. Anybody that can show that an injustice will result to him or to his people can bring an action to court. So which means that court actually erred by holding that those who came to court does not have the right to come to court.
Hello, Baba. I must go to bed now.
Okay.
2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Please stay because I still have a couple of things, and luckily they will fall into your area of competence, Dr. Janet. Baba, give us the final word tonight, especially in the area of the way we have been handling the situation. Kí ni tẹ́ máa sọ fún àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n ń gbọ́ yín? And what I mean by that is, okay, the election has come, it's gone, whatever. And what do you said it in that it could have not been the best thing for us to do, that we want to directly or indirectly participate. But you also agree that this is a process. How much more do we need to continue to do? And then also, I noticed there's a large number of bad press among us. And this is the truth. Maybe people like your age and my age, sir. Sorry about that. Hello. So I want to say, sir, Baba, how long do we have to continue pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn ara wa láàrin ara wa, dog eat dogs, oríṣiríṣi? We don't need that kind of thing. Can you please appeal to people to stop all these kind of bad publicities, talking about things? Do we need all that, sir? Baba, say what question, sir? Hello, Baba. Not too sure whether it's gone. Then, well, all right. As it is, I wanted to. Okay, I think Baba is left. That's fine. Like I said, I still have capable hands with me tonight to finish this program. I think it's now time to look at the comments and also ask people who wants to.
Sorry, I have not finished what I was saying.
Okay. Please, round up, sir.
So I was saying that at the end of the day, the court ought to have invited the lawyers for the federal government, the lawyers for the Yoruba Nation Global Directorate to come forward and address it on the issue of locus standi. It is then that if it gives ruling, it will be acceptable to us. So our lawyers are actually looking at the judgment presently so that they can come out with a decision. Fortunately, that court has power to review its own judgment. We felt that the judge erred Because what we are asking for is that if the federal government has refused to listen to what the people are saying, then the people are free to hold referendum for themselves.
That was the aim of it. But then again, I'm a baby
Yes.
lawyer. I don't practice. I know you know more than I do combined. But I know one thing that is clear. If you don't have local standing, I mean, I don't know what's the business going to the court. If things like Dr. Inefasa can put together are not into the application, into the what do you call that? The paper you submit, it's very easy to dismiss it and say, "Hello, who are you?"
But it is wrong for the court to say that you don't have local standard and raise the issue on its own without asking you to come and address it.
Okay.
It's a very serious issue in law. The court cannot make case for the federal government, it is the duty of the court to invite all the parties, come and talk about this issue. Let me hear both of you. Courts do it everywhere.
So
So
I'm not trying to argue with you again. Like I said,
I know, I'm only telling you the position that
yeah.
it is the duty of the court to say, oh, this issue of local standard, come and address me on it. Why I must give judgment in your favor. Then the parties will now bring their arguments, and both parties will argue. Not that a lawyer will mention in passing that they did not even have locals to sue. And the court will now hint on that without asking the other party to come and address it on it. Is when our lawyers were briefing us on this issue, it was a serious issue that we addressed. Even before the judgment, we are even contending that they should go back with an application based on the inherent jurisdiction of the court, that this matter they should come and address the court on the issue of local standard that the federal government's lawyer raised.
Okay. Thank you. Like I said, Papa has gone to bed, which is good. I appreciate his presence. For their viewers all over the world, help me share this program again. And then please bring in if you have any comments, bring it on. I can read some of them. But if you want to phone also, I have two capable hands. They are well, I mean, they are capable to answer some of the questions as good as the way probably Papa will also answer it, because they are also leaders in their different rights. Call in now. The number to call if you want to is 07368 465 054. I repeat, if you're calling from outside, it's +44 7368 465 054. You can call, and please understand that you might not have more than 1 minute or so to make comments or to ask questions. Please let that happen. And that number is the number you need to call, because that number will take you straight to my studio. Right. And some of the comments I've been reading here. Well, okay, everybody is entitled to their opinions. What I think is very, very important, we also need to learn that there's more there are more needs for us to have education, to know what to. I tried to be a tailor at one time. I will have probably learn the art of tailoring, So in this business of wanting to take a nation from a nation, it's not as easy as some people will think. And that's why I suggest to people who are listening to us, who are watching this video, this show, to appreciate that things have gone probably a different way, not exactly as we wanted it. But then with the new dispensation, the new arrangement, the new structure, uh, clearly we call for more education. And please follow us. I'm saying this. Don't think that is where it's supposed to be. Dr. Masaki, for those people who are saying we are not going to be safe under one wants to save Yoruba race from extinction in Western Nigeria. How is that going to happen? These are rhetorics that I sometimes don't want to comment, but I want you to say something about that.
About saving the Yoruba race from extinction.
From extinction in Western Nigeria,
In Western Nigeria. I don't think anybody can destroy Yoruba race. They may think they are trying. I don't think that's going to happen. But having said that, the Yorubas will say Ujulala Confin sorry. If we are not careful, they might significantly reduce the the population with what they are doing, killing, maiming, and all these other things. Um, and that's one of the reasons why we are asking for our own land, a land where we cannot be harassed, a land where the president is not going to turn a blind eye to the atrocities of his people, trying to do ethnic cleansing of the other group. So in order to save ourselves from such reduction, which I don't think anybody can exterminate us, such reduction is why we are doing what we are doing now. We need our own land where we can determine our own future, our own present, and look into our own past and see how we can benefit from it going forward. So on that question, I don't think anybody can exterminate us. It's not happening.
Thank you very much. Alagbo Dumosu, there's also one of the contributors saying the problems, I'm sure you can also read it there, the problem of the Yorubas will quadruple under Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidential. What does that say? What do you understand on that? What does that mean?
Well, the recent happenings in Lagos, especially the issue of no man's land, has taught everybody their lessons. And I'm sure that himself will have learned that there should be a limit to our liberalism in modern times. We should not be liberal to the extent of allowing other people to occupy our spaces while our own children are all over, despite their education, are just there doing nothing. So he was the one who introduced the issue of making non-Yoruba commissioners in Lagos. No other country, no other states in Nigeria practices it. If there is, I want to be educated on it. And also, they are the ones who allow other people to go into the national, the assembly, the House of Representatives, the state houses of assembly. So it is all these things that encourages people to think that they can do whatever they like in Yoruba nation. So he has been the architect of this problem to the extent that he systematically decimated the ranks and file of Afenifere to the extent that the body becomes reactive and reactionary to what goes on in Yoruba nation presently. Although àwọn yẹn náà ní tiwọn lára o, àwọn bàbá wa ní tiwọn lára o, because náà bá ní tiwọn lára, they should be able to examine themselves that for the past 60-something years, they have not actually achieved much, and yet now that they have the opportunity of supporting others to achieve, they shifted base and become opposition to the popular agitation of the Yoruba people. That is not too acceptable to us.
Can I also come into that?
Okay.
Like Barrister Odumosu said, the happening in Lagos is a big eye opener. But let me say something. I kind of like what happened in Lagos. I love the fact that the Igbos came to give them a good run for their money, because that should say something to those who are ruling in Lagos. They've been there for 24 years. If a little known party of little or no structure can shake them to their bottom like that, I think it is good, because what goes on in Lagos is a group of people, these party people, who think that they are a lord, they are lords unto themselves. Everything Yoruba they don't want to hear, because they believe Lagos is rich, they have enough money. Lagos is a land on its own. They can kill, they can insult, they can deprive as they want. Okay, when we were talking of the issue of Amotekun, Lagos was the only Yoruba state that rejected it. Whenever we want to rally to say this is what is happening to the Yorubas, Lagos is the place where they are going to antagonize us. Lagos is a place where people like MC Oluwama will come out, and one that they call Legacy or something like that. I read all those things when they were talking. I don't know who they are. That they will come out and be threatening our people. As if we bastard the Yoruba lawon. Now everybody now is now claiming to be Yoruba. We don't want Lagos to go now. Yoruba yi ilẹ̀ wa ni o. Yoruba yi tiwa ni o. Look Look at all the effort they went into in order to now claim, to now suddenly realize that they are Yoruba. I think they didn't think they were Yoruba. Even their king, Elegushi, look at the way he was saying that I want non-entity, no man fight, like self-determination. I mean, what kind of nonsensity is that? A king that is supposed to defend his own people, protect his own people, make sure that what Buhari is doing to us does not happen, but because he was able to get money from the federal government and be able to do whatever he's doing over there uncurbed because he's supporting the federal government, he suddenly forgot who he was until the Igbos came. Now the Igbos are now making everybody to wake up. I'm a Yoruba now. Yoruba, come and defend Lagos. Come. I would have wished that they lost to the Igbos, but for what happened in Ilorin, because what happened in Ilorin during the Afonja time, I think it was because of the excess of Afonja that made the Yorubas to leave him to his own destiny, for which he was killed brutally. But the loss was not just to him; it was to the entire Yoruba race. So when those of us who says we do not believe in voting, we are not going to vote. When we suddenly now change and encouraging our people in Lagos, our tenants, our cousins, our uncles, our everybody, please go and vote. Don't let the Igbos take off Yoruba land. I wish there was another person other than the governor that is there that had been projected. Because what I said is that if we begin to now look at another person, that will divide the vote, and that will allow those who are saying they want to take Yoruba land to take them away. So let's just assume that these people are there for years, Tinubu for 8 years. But we are doing whatever we are doing now to rescue Lagos for not just the 4 years, but the 40 years to come. Not just for the 8 years of Tinubu, but 80 years to come, 800 years to come. Is why we did what we did. Not because of them. But I enjoy seeing him now suddenly going to the common people, drinking ice cream on the streets of Lagos, going to help little known people to go and help them to do whatever they are doing to show that ara yin na lawa. And I was so just laughing when this the former Ekiti governor that stood with him was begging this private car dealers that so you know that the omi is dirty too. You all know that this omi should be thrown away, but just don't let it throw it away with the omo. So you know I change. I ṣe kí téèyàn bá dúró dáa tó dẹ̀ dúró tó ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kó ṣe kí ló fẹ́ change sí, kò ní láti change. But ọmọ àpótọ́ àbá promise gbogbo wọn yẹn òun ti lọ nìyẹn. I love it. I love it.
Yes. I'm also saying.
Ọ̀túnba.
Yes, sir.
Ọ̀túnba, sorry. Mo fẹ́ sọ nǹkan kan nípa àwọn sọ̀rọ̀sọ̀rọ̀ wa. It appears that some people actually misunderstood the support some of us gave to
Lagos
non-indigenous taking over Lagos. Some people misunderstood it to be thinking that maybe we are supporting one political party or the other. No, that is not the case. We are thinking about the future of our land. If we allow foreigners to take over our land, it will be very serious for us to take it back. And that is why we said, oh, we shouldn't allow non-indigenous people to take over Lagos because it is the commercial center for Yoruba nation. We can't afford to lose it. So that is why we did what we are doing. But some people thought by saying that you are supporting politics or you are supporting them to no, that is not the issue. And they should get they should distinguish between the two.
Right.
Sorry, sir, if you allow me. In addition to that, why we must not lose Lagos? Lagos is the 4th richest city in the whole of Africa. The GDP of Lagos is higher than all the other Yoruba states.
In many countries, yeah.
We cannot afford to lose a city like that just because of the temporary anger that we have towards those who are mismanaging it, or those who are cutting away money, because I can't imagine why somebody will be making 5 billion every month from Lagos. But if somebody is able to make 5 billion from Lagos, which is a percentage, then you can imagine how much money is being generated from Lagos and why the Igbos are focused on it.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw their own land that is
Shambles. In
undeveloped.
shambles.
Yeah, it's in shambles. They are not focused on that, but they are focused on Lagos.
And of course, and I must say, as a Lagosian, our authentic Lagosian, right? This is the most memory at
ẹ̀yin onífàájì
Àwa la lè kó. Ìjẹ̀bú ni mi, but àwa la lè kó.
Yorùbá láṣẹ dìde sí yín. Fàájì ní tèkó.
We are good at abẹ́ṣe kò mọ abẹ́ṣe marriage.
Ẹ fẹ́ jó, ẹ fẹ́ jáde nírọ̀lẹ́.
Aṣọ àdàbẹ́ wà pa àdàbẹ́ jáde.
Àwọn ò ní jẹ́ kẹ́ kó bá wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, a ò ní sọ Èkó nù.
Made very profound observations, and I want to add this also. It is not all about candidate A, B, C, D. It is about the fact that here is our ancestral land, which we have to protect and make sure nothing happens to it. We'll be having non-Lagos indigenous. That is the truth. Who has been ruling that place? That's fine. But the dimension brought into this time around frighten everybody. And it's also, I'm happy that in the process, the Alejoa, they got in the message that this is not for sale. You can buy, and some people do understand. Yeah, they can buy land. They can, but there's some, I don't know, you probably both of you practice in Nigeria. Don't we have a freehold? Most of whatever they are buying is leasehold. They could have not bought the freehold of Lagos State.
It's leasehold that you have in Lagos. You
leasehold.
Thank you.
Yes, it is just for 99 years, and the government has power to make policies on the land.
Thank you.
The Land Use Act vests power in the governors of each state. So it is I'm sure that Lagos government will be wiser this time around. But one lesson that I want them to see is that the Yorubas may disagree with themselves, but when it comes to attacking an enemy, the Yorubas will come together, and that will be demonstrated today.
And láti kọ́kọ́ lé
ẹlẹ́gàn lọ Akata lọ náà.
Kátó wá fà bọ̀bá díẹ̀.
Thank you very much. Again, part of the comments here, I've seen some fantabulous figures. I want to say this to all people listening to us here. We have not, and I'm sorry, I'm very different in terms of being independent. My opinion can be very, very too sharp. We have not had any census. We have not counted ourselves. That is the truth. We have been using kind of silly parameters to guess what? That from nowhere, Ibadan, which is the largest, most populous city when I was growing up in the 60s and the 50s, that I know, and then from nowhere, Gozo, somewhere where you have to do 8 hours drive, and then you won't see anybody, have overtaken. These are part of the ills. These are part of the problems the Yoruba self-determination movement are fighting to resolve. Because without concrete, proper statistics, census, you cannot develop any country, because that's why people get away with murder. They will say they have 20 local governments where it's supposed to not supposed to be more than maybe 10 or whatever. Now, so I want to say to people that most of the figures we are quoting here cannot be used because we never have any correct census. It is in the open there. While I'm trying to tap into your knowledge, both of you, sir, Abima, I want an area what I want us to discuss. Unfortunately, Papa has gone to sleep now. The area of our press. How do you want to rate our press? How much are we doing to promote, to reel out the necessary researched, needed information to the public? Let me start with Alagwa Dumusu.
Well, the issue of the press has been a serious concern to majority of some of us, because we felt the way they are actually prosecuting it ethical, and there's need for it to be regulated. But because it is internet-based, they felt that it is not being, nobody could regulate them. But that is not correct, because some of these countries have laws that guide such things. And if you say anything or you publish anything, you can actually be taken for it, arrested for it. But having said that, coming back home to our own level, I will use this opportunity to say that we have what we call Yoruba Nation Freelance Journalist Network. Freelance Journalist Network. And the aim of that body is actually to regulate the media system, as it were, on the social media for Yoruba Nation. Our media should be addressing issues. They should be discussing topics that are reasonable, that are current, are not frivolous current issues. Ẹni bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sórí afẹ́fẹ́, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ní topic tó yẹ pé tán bá sọ, ó máa lè enlighten àwọn èèyàn. Kì í ṣe pé bóyá àwọn kan ń jà, àwọn kan bú èèyàn kan, àwọn kan ṣe kíní kan kíní. Èyí tó wá jù ni pé we have to even stop the issue of cursing people. It's not in our nature.
It's too much.
Ká máa ṣépè fún àwọn èèyàn tá a bá ń ṣe program. Gbogbo ìyẹn a need àti stop ẹ̀. Torí pé tá a bá stop ẹ̀, ó máa kò jẹ́ kí robustness tó yẹ kó wà nínú ìjàngbara wa kò jẹ́ kó yọ. Tẹ bá ní ẹ fẹ́ wo program bí ẹ̀kan tí ẹ fẹ́ relax ẹ fẹ́ wo program, nǹkan tẹ máa gbọ́ kò ní dùn mọ́ yín nú. And network journalist, freelance journalist network tí mo sọ yẹn, we have intention of training people, especially those that are operating on social media. We train them online. We let them know the ethics of the profession, the way they should be presented, and the current laws that guide all this, what they say. Because tó bá rò pé kò sí òpin, data protection wà, GDPR wà ní Europe, mímọ nǹkan tó wà ní America tó jẹ́ pé téèyàn bá sọ àwọn nǹkan kan, wọ́n lè torí ẹ̀ arrest ẹ̀, wọ́n lè torí ẹ̀ sue ẹ̀, wọ́n gbé lọ sí ẹjọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gbogbo ẹ̀ ló wà ń bẹ̀. So there's need for us to talk to ourselves, and I think through this such platforms such as this, we can be discussing it and bring all these people together to come and learn and see how they could do some things better.
Thank you. Dr. Janet Fasaki, this is not self-appraisal. You and I have been victim of this Jankara
media.
It's funny to you, but the need to repeat, to talk about on and on and on again is nothing. It's not a lot anymore. No, it's just to just to back up what you are saying, that there's a need to be educated in whatever we are doing.
To structure and police.
We cannot continue. This evening, I was like listening to a couple of snaps, of some voice note, and it is beginning to the end. Do we need that, Dr.
Very, very stinking, very terrible. We don't need that. But again, sometimes poverty also encourages
which of them? Poverty of money or the mind? Or
of all things. But I would say poverty of money, because if you look at the people who are behind all these things, and you look at their life and where they are, some of them are illegal in the country where they are. Those who are legal among them, they don't have a job. That's why you can see somebody who wants to sit for 10 hours. And for those 10 hours, he has to fill it with something. And because the internet also, because they need a crowd, they pay for people to bring in crowd. And in a situation like this, where a lot of people are jobless, and I don't mince word in saying jobless, because I can't imagine myself sitting on somebody's program for 10 hours. What will I be doing? How will I write my brief? How will I take care of my family? How will I do something that people are supposed to do that will make your life robust? So you can know that, people who have no jobs, they gather with these people. And because the internet pay for the crowd that they garner, it encourages them to be as stinking and foul, unprofessional, uncultured that they can be. Because stinkiness seems to bring in crowd. That's why you see people who deal with nakedness. What do you call it now? Those who deal with sexual something. If you see it, what do you call it, Mr. Barrister Odumosu?
I'm not.
Pornography.
Pornography.
You see that it brings
I don't use that.
pornography. You see that it brings a lot of people,
Yeah.
and I usually wonder, what is it that they are sitting to look at? If you have a wife and a husband at home, what is the infatuation in that? But because people's mindset and head and everything is so upside down and twisted. So if you see those people who swear, curse, and do all these things, you need to look at their background. What is motivating them? Money. Because they don't have a job, a life job that they can sit with. So that kind of bring money for them to be able to pay their rent, feed and dress up and bleach their skin and put about 4 or 5 eyelashes and looking
I
like
call it wiper. What do I call it? Most of them call it Kinecon wiper.
like hardly will you see somebody who is and I'm saying that, and you can take it to the bank. Hardly can you see somebody who is professional, who is educated, who has a life that will engage in things like that. Whether you structure your media or you don't even structure your media, there are things that do not come out of the mouth of somebody that is well educated, professional, and came from a very good home. There are things you don't say out even to the public, and you see that that's what these ones enjoy. And then we go, I want somewhere, I want women. I don't know what is wrong with these people. And then you say, are we in the same agitation together? Yes,
Exactly.
we are.
I have again. I'm like gone past the age of arguing with some. I don't want to use any stupid word here. How can Baba go to bed at this crucial moment? He ran away. You can
Run away from what?
Yeah.
What is it that we are saying that he ran away from?
Let me finish. You can tell from his tone. What does he mean by who are you? Why he agrees? Again, these are part of what we are talking about.
We don't need, please don't bring something like that. We don't need those senseless.
Exactly. This stupid.
But we don't need people like that.
Yeah, but
we need real stuff.
Yeah, we need to still get the message to people. How much foolishness can they be? This is
No,
terrible.
don't bring that to a discussion like this.
Well, I think some may not understand some things. Well, Baba is old, and that's why we're asking Baba to go and retire so that the younger ones can take it. By now, it should be around 10 or 11.
Yes,
in where Baba is. So I think we can pardon Baba if Baba has gone to sleep.
Yeah. Even somebody who is young, if you have, today is Saturday, that's why I'm able to sit like this. If this is during weekdays, this is my own, and I'm 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. where I am, that's my sleeping time. I will not be sitting like this and be discussing. So people should just use their gumption and use their common sense if they have one.
Exactly. And somebody also commented on the attitude of press. You know, say most of them are bloggers. But then again, I know I've known bloggers who are doing whatever. Yeah. What's the name of this young woman in America? She's a blogger. There are many other bloggers in the world that they don't believe so foolishly, so idiotic, so it's such a
this lady that's
the lady.
Is she not a blogger? But you can see professionalism in what she does.
Even a lawyer that some people will say she has some element, but she still blogs in such a manner that you can take something home. Well, lady and gentlemen, and I genuinely want to thank you. I appreciate you. And what gets to me is I'll be able to call you within short notice. You bet it. You can call me anytime in short notice. Give me 1 minute just to dress up, and I'll be part of whatever you are doing. I want to thank you very, very much. I want to thank.
Please let me just add this, Otumba. Even though we kind of play away those who say nonsensical things,
yes,
let them also know that whatever they are doing is actionable. And they think they can hide under freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, I've said it on so many something. It does not cover individual attacks. When you attack individuals, make sure what you are saying is the truth and you can prove it. You can say whatever you want to your government, But you can see that even government of Nigeria will not take that from you. Okay? They will not even take that from you. Talk less of saying it to an individual. There is a law of cyberbullying that can put you in jail. I wanted to show them at I think like last year or something, when I put about 11 of those people whose statements show that they lack common sense. But for the Yoruba people, you know, and that's why I said Yoruba ẹ má bínú torí mo mọ̀ pé ó ń bọ̀ wá hunt gbogbo yín. Mo mọ̀ pé gbogbo ẹ bá fi iná lẹ fi sórí òrùlé tẹ́ ẹ ní kán má pa. Mo ní ẹ má bínú o. Ẹ mo kúnlẹ̀ mo bẹ̀ gbogbo yín. Nísìnyí ńkọ́, who is crying now? Because tẹ́ ẹ bá fi irú àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn sílẹ̀, egbò tó kẹ̀ ni wọ́n. Tẹ́ ẹ bá take care, it will lead to amputation. And amputation, even if it's not taken care of, can lead to death. And that's what you are all seeing now. Tí ò jẹ́ pé wọ́n tiẹ̀ mọ ẹsẹ̀ kò lọ, wọ́n mọ̀ pé ẹnìkan náà kì í bú, kò ságbà, kò sọ́mọdé, kò sí nǹkan kan. They will lie with impunity. They will say anything they want because you guys have not been doing what you're supposed to do. I know what I can do if you leave them to me. But because you guys have turned against me, for me to do that, kí n bá yín kó àwọn ọmọ yín lọ́gbọ́n tẹ́ ẹ̀ ti jẹ́ kó ṣeé ṣe. Ọlọ́mọ burúkú náà ni ó máa ṣe.
Ọ̀túnba ẹ má bínú, mo fẹ́ lo Ọ̀túnba ẹ má bínú, mo fẹ́ lo opportunity yẹn láti invite our members of the media pé kán wá join Yoruba Nation network of freelance journalists, kán wá join ẹ̀. They have a lot to gain. This is not issue of bóyá mo wà nínú group kan àbí mo. It is a free organization for those who are practicing in the social media.
Our independent by our 100% one.
Ẹ máa join wa náà, ẹ máa join wọn náà.
Ẹsẹ̀ link sí wa.
It's okay. Ẹ má worry, 10% tí bá ti fún yín ní èyí tá bá yín ṣe lálẹ́ yìí sìn, tí bá ti fún yín ní bíìlì ẹ̀, 10% ẹ̀ máa dá padà fún yín.
What they are proposing, we proposed that last year.
Yes.
And we actually drew the how to do it. We submitted it to Baba Adeniro.
I remember. Yes, I was
remember that. Yeah. Because we believe there should be structure, there should be education of the media, there should be a kind of professionalism, and there should be a repercussion for what they do that is unprofessional. Why do the motorists here, why do they behave and those in Nigeria do not behave? Because you know you can pay the police and get away. Here, you will lose your license, and if you drive without license, you go to jail. Okay, why is it that the lawyers will behave themselves here? Because they have a license that they are protecting. The Yoruba world media needs to have a kind of training that will give them a license, that whoever misbehaves, the license will be withdrawn. And those who are the errant among them, then they can face them and even prosecute them, call them, what is it now? What do you call those who are not trained as doctors? Quacks.
Quacks.
Yes. And you can give them the injury of quacks because that's who they are. Untrained, uncultured, unprofessional in every way, rotten in the way they talk, you know, because they want to make money.
I hope we get there. Just on a more lighter mode. Please, just 1 minute. Kini Nkoti, you and I probably know the difference from 0 and 1. Why are some people still can't get 0 and 1? What do you think is wrong with them? Just 1 minute. That's related to some people are still like hiding behind one finger that they got something which they don't have. What is responsible for that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Here we are.
Come. I mean,
okay. Now, I want to learn ara wa because we cannot afford to not to tell each other the truth. I'm going to believe there's something somebody got in for them. What is the response for that?
Well, ṣé mọ̀ pé oníkálukú ló ní belief tiẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ ní àwọn kan ti create godly picture of some individuals whom they follow, hook, line and sinker. Wọ́n bá ní kán lọ jábọ́ sómi, wọ́n máa jábọ́ sómi without even questioning ṣé omi yìí ṣé mo lè survive tí n bá kú sí. So and it is because mi ò ní sọ pé bóyá low intelligence ló fà á torí wípé tí wọ́n bá sọ̀rọ̀ fún yàn pé ọ̀rọ̀ yìí báyìí báyìí ni o ó yẹ kéèyàn gan kó gbé ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn wò kó ṣe ìwádìí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn pé ọ̀rọ̀ yìí nǹkan ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni yẹn ṣe gbé kalẹ̀ ni kó tó di pé òun fún ara ẹ̀ máa jù síta tí ò bá dẹ̀ ti ṣe yẹn any consequence tó bá dé bá òun náà là fún ara ẹ̀ forí ko.
Thank you very much.
Let me say something about that too.
No, you have 1 minute, madam, because I need to close my office.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and close your office.
No.
All right. I want to talk about indoctrination.
Yes.
Indoctrination is a very terrible thing. And I think this group of people you are talking about, if I understand what you're saying, they are being indoctrinated. And indoctrinated, hey, God help us. I think I was on a show like this where I gave the example of Jim Jones. Jim Jones that took people from America and took them to Guyana.
In Ghana, yeah.
And got to a stage, indoctrinated them so much. Initially, was using the name of God like the leader of these people use. God lolo sela to unro amalasi tawon jo je to wan sare bo lati wa sọ fún yín right now, not from the mouth of God. That was what Jim Jones was using, and he used that to take a lot of people from America to a jungle in Guyana. And when his indiscretion was discovered by America, and he knew they were going to arrest him, his people had been indoctrinated enough for him to be able to convince them that they need to commit suicide. And he brought drinks. He laced it with cyanide in their presence.
Yes. In
their presence. And he was dishing it out. His wife was giving it to people who knew that drinking this water, this drink, they are going to die. And he told them, as soon as you drink it, just lay down, jeje. And they lay down, jeje, and died. Like that. So many of them. And then you would say, what will make people to behave like that? The same thing that will make people to behave like what we are experiencing now. Those who say they reclaim, they have occupied, and they keep telling themselves that you reclaim. There is election going on. There is governor in the office. There is Olopa there. There is, and you still saying that to yourself, and they believe it.
And some people are in prison.
That's the power of indoctrination. To the extent that let's thank God that we are not physically together. If we have been physically together, these people talking of 2022, they would have told them, if you live to 2023 and we don't take Yoruba nation, it is better they kill themselves. So it's better you drink this cyanide and let's go and let's leave Banji Akintoye and his people.
Sister, are you aware of one Alice in Uganda?
No.
Alice in Uganda formed the Lord's army and said that Lord directed her to form a government in Uganda, and the government of Uganda was just doing like this. We're watching her. So she gathered about 1,000 foot soldiers, put uniform on their bodies, gave them guns, and they were preparing to take over the government. And just one night, the government of Uganda swooped on them, killed several of them, arrested some, and the woman escaped to South Africa. She died last year in South Africa in exile. So people who believe that it is God that gave them inspiration, or they see God in their rooms and that he has directed them to do some things, they mislead others. And it is also a function of indoctrination. Asking people to eat any leaf.
Did you see the ones eating grass?
Yes, eating grass.
Yes.
So God will help them.
Thoroughly indoctrinated in this Yoruba nation. That to say otherwise to them is to make them look at you and say you are an evil person. Somebody you are following who will not come and lead what he says you should go and do, who will not show a face, who will be lying to you, giving you fake documents that he said she got from 100 nations, who will say anything, and then God, Oluwani, ó ti gbà wá, ó ti kó wa lọ, ó ti fún wa lọ́gẹ̀dẹ̀ jẹ, ó ti fún wa ní màálù, ó ti ṣe gbogbo.
I'm going to bring you back again, both of you, to join that discussion. There are a lot to be discussed. I want to thank everybody. It's my pleasure. I appreciate you again.
Thank you very much for having us.
And my message goes to Baba. Thank you very much for coming. As you, all our viewers, listeners, I want to thank you all. God bless you all. Ó dàárọ̀.
Thank you, Barrister Odumosi. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you,
Have a
ma. Bye, ma.
wonderful
Ó dàárọ̀, ma.
day.
Yes, ma.